So today we're talking about pre-kite surf snacks. We had a question in our free community, which you can join at the link below, community.tantrumex.com. It's free. Come and join us, ask your questions in there. Because what I do every week is I pick out a question that's asked in the community and I answer it in more detail in a live session like this, so I can go into more detail on it, but also so you can jump on and ask me your questions in the chat. So if you do have questions as we're going through this, if you're on the live version, stick them in the chat. If you're watching the replay, stick them in the comments below. So again, this week it was asked, what can I eat before I go kite surfing to give me more energy on the water so I can last longer, so I can actually perform better when I'm out there kite surfing on the water? Now, my answer to this often goes quite contra, you'd be surprised to hear, to the normal wisdom on this. My answer to this normally is nothing. Don't do anything special, which again isn't very exciting, but bear with me. We'll get into the nitty gritty of this over the next 5-10 minutes. Why do I say nothing? Well, because if you cannot last for an hour and a half, 2 hours on the water because of nutritional reasons, because your body's running out of fuel, then I would argue there's something inherently wrong with the fuel that you are putting in your body in the first place. You should be able to last an hour and a half, 2 hours of kite surfing fairly straightforward. You should be able to find that really fairly straightforward. If there's something going wrong, if you're at a point where, wow, my God, I've just got nothing left in the tank, then I would take a step back, and rather than trying to fix it with the pre-kite surfing snack, I would look at your overall fuel plan and reanalyze that. Now, why again is this nothing a good idea? Well, because most pre-sports snack energy drinks, things like this, all they're designed to do is give you a shitload of glucose, load of energy that then primes your muscle that your body can instantly use as fuel. Okay, that's great. But the problem is, let's say if you're kite surfing once in a while, or just doing that once in a while, okay, no problems. And you don't have a high glucose diet, you can get away with that. The problem is most of us have a very, very high glucose diet. And then we add these energy drinks, other sugary things on top of that. And all it does is it spikes our blood sugar massively. Now, again, in the short term, immediately that's not necessarily such a bad thing. But what it does is it leads straight afterwards to a drop. So you have a half-hour high, and then suddenly your blood sugar drops again, and you're then forced to go back for another sugary something to keep your energy up. More problematic with this is long-term. And again, when I work with people, I'm typically working with people after 40, post 40 years old. Now, for them, this can cause massive problems. If they've been doing this since they're 20, following this conventional wisdom since they're 20, and they're doing a lot of sports, or they're doing it a lot, this can really lead to a lot of problems down the line, where you've got things like insulin resistance building up, pre-diabetes, due to these consistent blood spikes. And also, this blood sugar spiking can have other knock-on effects down the road which aren't so pleasant. We want to try and avoid that all we can. So this is why I'm saying, rather than having a pre-kite surf snack, sort your fuel out so you don't need it. Sort your fuel plan out so you do not need it. And again, if you want more on this, we have a free challenge in the community. It's free, and it tells you exactly how to do this fuel plan, how to get it right. So again, head over to the link below, join up, and we can talk about it in there. So that's where we start. I would suggest nothing. Look at your fuel plan. However, if you're going to be kite surfing for more than like an hour and a half, 2 hours, then at that point, I would probably think, okay, for most people, we're going to need some kind of boost to keep us going. So for those times, what I would normally do is have something on the beach that I can come back to and just gnaw down on to get out there and keep going. Now, what would I include in that snack? Well, again, really the only thing that's going to do you any good in the moment is glucose. So all you keto people out there, so it doesn't matter, I run on fats. Great, I get it. But if you put like a fatty snack on the beach, it's not going to have time for your body to convert that into energy. If you don't have enough background ketones to sustain you through that period of exercise, that fatty snack, there's not going to be enough time over the next hour, hour and a half, however long you kite surfing for your body to actually convert it into energy, to break it down into energy. It might cure your hunger, but it's not going to do anything for your performance in that short term. So the only option you've really got at this point is glucose. So something like a piece of fruit. You know, if you want to mix it up to blunt the blood sugar spike, then mix it with fats or fiber. So something like nuts and a banana is generally my go-to. There was a recipe suggested in the group, which was dates and almonds. You know, the good ones. So you've got the glucose, but you've also got the fiber and the fat to prevent the blood sugar spike as much. So it's not going to do you as much damage down the road. So my kind of mid-kite surf snack, I normally have a bag of, I love macadamias. They're just amazing. Favorite nut in the world. Absolutely obsessed with them. So I have a bag of macadamias and maybe banana. Or if I'm feeling like I'm going to treat myself a few dates, but that tends for me to turn into crack cocaine and end up eating the entire bag of macadamias and the entire bag of dates. So a banana and a handful of macadamias normally does it for me. Gives me the glucose to get back out on the water and keep going. And that readily available glucose that the body can use straight away. And, you know, that also what it does is the fiber and the ketones are kind of working longer term. And now I'm thinking about recovery. So when I get off the water, there's some fuel there still circulating that can start the recovery process straight away. Now, this is where we hit the real meat. So rather than a pre-kite surfing snack, what I would say is what I focus on really in a day when I'm kite surfing lots isn't so much what I'm doing either before or when I'm on the water. It's what I will eat afterwards. Because what I want to be able to do, especially living here in Tenerife, lucky enough, you know, I kite surf for 2-3 hours a day, and I want to be able to do the same the next day. And so for me, recovery is super, super important. So what I would focus on more than a pre-kite surfing snack is a post-kite surfing nutrition. And what that would generally entail would be a good meal. You know, for me, that would be good proteins, so some grass-fed, grass-finished meats of some sort, veg, loads of veg, so getting fiber as well and loads of nutrition in there. And then probably as well, some form of carbohydrates. Now, this wouldn't be your usual huge bowl of pasta, huge bowl of rice, something like that. I don't necessarily recommend that because, again, that's just going to spike your blood sugar. Pasta has all sorts of other things in there that we really want to try and avoid most of the time. So I'd be looking at things like yuca, cassava, plantain, which is your big bananas, sweet potato, squash, pumpkin, things like that. Higher resistance starch carbs, which break down slower, which don't spike your blood sugar so much, which also work as prebiotics for your gut bacteria. So I would be focusing on that very much so, and then the usual, good night's sleep, loads of water, things like that, la, 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 la. So again, for me, it's not so much about the pre-kite surf snack. It's about what you're eating afterwards, what you're making sure to do, that you can do it all again tomorrow. So again, if you've got questions on that, guys, if that hasn't answered everything for you, if you've got anything more, join our free community. Ask me in there. Like every week I pick out a question there and answer it live on here. So it's a great chance. If you've got some burning question that you need answering, dive in there, ask me in there, and we'll take it from there. You know, if you ask a question on there, probably pull it out and go through it on here live, where you can jump on and ask me questions about it. So that's it from me for today, guys. Hope that was useful. As I say, link for the group is down below in the show notes if you're watching or listening to this wherever. Community.tantrumx.com. I'd love to see you in there. Ciao, ciao for now.